What happens when Hollywood royalty walks onto a talk show stage thinking the rules don't apply to them? When a Duchess-turned-celebrity sits down for what should be a simple interview, but instead unleashes a tirade so shocking that security has to get involved? In just 38 seconds of one single comment, everything falls apart, and what starts as polite conversation ends with the most dramatic exit in talk show history. This is the story of how one guest went from composed to completely out of control, all because a host dared to ask the questions everyone wanted answers to. Andy Cohen has seen it all. Decades in television, thousands of interviews, every kind of celebrity you can imagine sitting across from him. He knows how to handle difficult guests. He knows how to navigate tricky topics. He's built his entire career on getting people to open up, to be real, to show who they actually are behind the carefully crafted public image. So when Meghan Markle walks onto his set, he's ready. He's prepared. He's done his research like he always does. The audience is excited. The energy is high, and everything seems normal. She sits down, smiles for the cameras, adjusts her microphone. Standard procedure. Andy welcomes her warmly, thanks her for coming, does all the usual pleasantries that start every single interview. But something feels different. There's a tension in the air that Andy can't quite put his finger on. Maybe it's the way she's sitting, a little too rigid, a little too perfect. Maybe it's the look in her eyes, like she's already preparing for battle. Or maybe it's just his instincts, honed over years of doing this, telling him that this interview is going to be anything but ordinary. They start with the easy stuff. Safe questions. How has she been? What projects is she working on? Basic small talk that lets the guest settle in and get comfortable. Meghan answers, but her responses are clipped, shorter than they should be. She's not giving him anything to work with. No stories, no humor, no personality. Just carefully worded statements that sound like they've been approved by a team of lawyers. Andy tries to loosen things up. He throws in a joke, something light, something that usually gets a laugh. The audience chuckles. Meghan does not. She just stares at him with this look that could freeze water. Okay, he thinks, tough crowd. Let's try a different approach. He shifts gears, asks about her life, her experiences, the things she's passionate about. Surely this will get her talking, get her to open up. But instead of opening up, she deflects. Every question gets met with a non-answer or a redirect back to some talking point she clearly came prepared to deliver. The audience is starting to notice. You can feel the energy in the room changing. This isn't flowing like an interview should. It feels like a chess match, like every word is being calculated and measured. Andy's good at what he does, but he needs something to work with. He needs a real conversation, not this robotic back and forth. So he decides to go there. He asks the question that everyone watching wants to know the answer to. It's not mean. It's not a gotcha. It's just honest. It's the kind of question that his entire show is built on. Real talk. Real questions. Real answers. And that's when everything changes. Meghan's face transforms. The polite mask drops. Her eyes narrow. And when she speaks, her voice has an edge to it that wasn't there before. "Excuse me," she says, and it's not really a question. It's a warning. Andy, professional that he is, doesn't back down. He rephrases, tries to soften it, explains what he's asking, but she's not having it. "I don't think you understand who you're talking to," Meghan says, and the audience goes silent. Dead silent. You could hear a pin drop in that studio. Andy keeps his composure. He's dealt with upset guests before. He knows how to de-escalate. "I'm just trying to have a conversation," he says calmly. "That's what we do here." But Meghan is already wound up, already on the offensive. "A conversation?" she repeats. And there's this mocking tone in her voice that makes everyone uncomfortable. This isn't a conversation. This is an interrogation. The audience shifts in their seats. This is getting awkward. This is getting tense. Andy tries to explain that these are standard questions, that every guest gets asked similar things, that this is literally the format of the show, but she's not listening. Standard questions. Meghan's voice rises. Do you ask everyone about their private family matters? Do you ask everyone to justify their choices? Or is it just me? Andy stays calm. Remarkably calm. I ask questions that the audience is interested in, he says. That's my job. Your job, Meghan says. And she actually laughs, but it's not a friendly laugh. It's bitter. Sharp. Your job is to sit here and make people feel small? To dig into things that are none of your business? Now Andy's getting frustrated. You can see it in his face. Just a flicker. But it's there. That's not what I'm doing, he says. I'm asking you questions. You can answer them or not. That's your choice. My choice? Meghan leans forward. You invite me here, you put me on stage, you ask invasive questions, and then you tell me it's my choice? Do you know how manipulative that is? The audience is completely silent now. Everyone can feel this spiraling. Everyone can see that this is going somewhere bad. Andy tries one more time to bring it back, to reset, to find some common ground. Look, he says, maybe we got off on the wrong foot here. Let's just take a breath and start over. But Meghan is already shaking her head. No, she says. No, I don't think so. I think what we need to do is address the real issue here. Which is, Andy asks, which is that you think you can talk to me however you want. Ask me whatever you want, like I owe you something, like I owe anyone watching this something. Andy's professional mask is cracking now. I don't think you owe me anything, he says, and his voice is firm. But you did agree to come on this show. You knew what kind of show this is. I've been doing this for years. Everyone knows the format. Oh, I know the format, Meghan shoots back. The format is you get to play nice guy while asking nasty questions, and then acting shocked when someone calls you out on it. That crosses a line. Andy straightens up in his chair. I have never asked you a nasty question, he says. Not one. I've been nothing but respectful. Respectful? Meghan's voice is getting louder. You call this respectful? Digging into my personal life? Questioning my decisions? Making me defend myself on national television? I asked you about your work. Andy's voice rises to match hers. He's losing patience now, and honestly, who can blame him? I asked you about things you've talked about publicly. That's not digging. That's not invasive. That's an interview. The audience is transfixed. This is car crash television. Everyone wants to look away, but nobody can. Meghan stands up. Actually stands up from her chair. You know what? She says. I don't have to sit here and take this. Andy looks at her, genuinely confused now. Take what? I'm asking you questions. That's literally why you're here. I'm here because I was told this would be a respectful conversation, Meghan says. Not an attack. An attack? Andy actually laughs at this point. He can't help it. You think this is an attack? I've been bending over backwards to try to have a normal conversation with you. You're the one who turned this hostile. I turned this hostile? Meghan's voice hits a new pitch. Are you serious right now? From the moment I sat down, you've been trying to trap me. Trying to get me to say something you can use against me. Andy stands up now too. That is absolutely not true. I have treated you the exact same way I treat every single guest who sits in that chair. The only difference is that every other guest actually wants to have a conversation. The audience gasps. It's a direct hit. It beats and everyone knows it. Meghan's face flushes red. How dare you, she says quietly, but it's the kind of quiet that's more dangerous than yelling. How dare you sit there and accuse me of not wanting to have a conversation when you've done nothing but badger me? Badger you? Andy's had enough. Completely had enough. I asked you maybe 5 questions. 5. And you've turned every single one into a confrontation. I don't know what show you thought you were coming on, but this is what we do. We talk. We ask questions. We have actual conversations. Don't you talk down to me, Meghan says, pointing her finger at him. Don't you dare talk down to me like I'm some child who doesn't understand how television works. Then stop acting like one. The words are out of Andy's mouth before he can stop them. The studio goes absolutely silent. Even the crew members freeze. That's the moment. That's the line that gets crossed. Meghan's mouth drops open. What did you just say to me? Andy doesn't back down. He's in it now. You heard me. You came on this show with an attitude from the second you sat down. You've been defensive, you've been hostile, and you've twisted every single thing I've said into some kind of attack. I've been patient, I've been professional, but I'm not going to sit here and let you accuse me of things I didn't do. You just called me a child, Meghan says, her voice shaking with anger. I said you were acting like one, Andy corrects. There's a difference. Get me out of here, Meghan says, turning to look off stage. Get me out of here right now. You're welcome to leave anytime you want, Andy says. The door's right there. Meghan turns back to him, her eyes blazing. You're going to regret this, she says. You have no idea who you're dealing with. And there it is. The entitled attitude that's been bubbling under the surface this whole time comes pouring out. Who I'm dealing with, Andy repeats. You're a guest on my show. That's who you are right now. And you've been nothing but rude and difficult since you got here. Rude? Meghan's voice goes up again. I'm rude? You're the one who insulted me on live television. I defended myself, Andy says. There's a difference. You came at me. You attacked me. You accused me of all kinds of things I didn't do. What exactly did you expect me to do? Just sit here and take it. I expected you to be professional, Meghan spits out. I was professional, Andy fires back, and for as long as I could be. But you don't get to come on someone's show, treat them like garbage, and then act shocked when they finally respond. Meghan grabs her purse from beside the chair. I'm leaving. Good, Andy says, and his voice is ice cold now. Please do. But Meghan doesn't leave. Not yet. She has more to say. Of course she has more to say. You know what your problem is? She asks, even though it's clearly not a real question. You think because you have this show, because you have these cameras, that you're important, that you matter. But you're just another talk show host. Just another person trying to make a name off other people's stories. The audience gasps again. That's a low blow, and everyone knows it. Andy's jaw tightens. And you're just another guest who can't handle being asked real questions. And do you know how many people sit in that chair? Hundreds. Thousands. And somehow, they all manage to have a normal conversation. But not you. You're special, right? The rules don't apply to you. The rules? Meghan laughs that bitter laugh again. What rules? The rules that say I have to sit here and be disrespected? The rules that say I have to answer whatever invasive question you feel like asking? Those rules? The rules of basic human decency, Andy says. The rules that say when someone invites you onto their show, you don't show up with an agenda and an attitude. You don't treat the host like they're your enemy. You don't turn a simple interview into a battle. This wasn't a simple interview, Meghan says. This was a setup from the start. A setup? Andy actually looks incredulous now. You're paranoid. You know that? Completely paranoid. Nobody set you up. Nobody trapped you. You did this to yourself. I did this to myself? Meghan's voice is shrill now. You're the one who asked inappropriate questions. Name one, Andy challenges her. Name one inappropriate question I asked you. Just one. Meghan opens her mouth, then closes it. Opens it again. She can't. Because there wasn't one. and everyone watching knows it. That's what I thought, Andy says quietly. That does it. That's the final straw. Meghan's face contorts with rage. You are the most arrogant, condescending, self-important person I have ever had the misfortune of meeting, she says, her words coming out fast and sharp. You sit here in your little studio, thinking you're so clever, thinking you're so important, but you're nothing. You're nobody. And after today, everyone is going to know exactly what kind of person you really are. Andy doesn't even blink. And what kind of person is that? A bully, Meghan says. A small, pathetic bully who gets his kicks from making guests uncomfortable. I didn't make you uncomfortable, Andy says, his voice steady. You made yourself uncomfortable because you can't handle being treated like everyone else. You walked in here expecting special treatment, expecting me to throw you softball questions and fawn all over you. And when that didn't happen, you couldn't handle it. Special treatment? Meghan is almost screaming now. I expected basic respect. I expected to be treated like a human being. I did treat you like a human being, Andy says. I treated you exactly how I treat everyone. That's the problem. You don't want to be treated like everyone else. You want to be treated like you're better than everyone else. The audience is completely riveted. This is the most dramatic thing most of them have ever seen live. Meghan takes a step toward Andy, and for a second, it looks like things might get physical. Security starts moving, just in case. You have no idea what you've done, Meghan says, her voice low and threatening. No idea what's coming for you. Andy doesn't move, doesn't flinch. Is that a threat? It's a promise, Meghan says. Great, Andy says flatly. I'll add it to the list of empty threats I've received over the years. Right between the angry housewife from season 3 and the reality star who didn't like my questions about her divorce. That comparison makes Meghan even angrier, which honestly didn't seem possible. How dare you compare me to them? She hisses. Why? Andy asks. Because you think you're better than them? More important than them? That's exactly my point. You think you're special. You think the normal rules don't apply to you. But they do. They apply to everyone. I am not everyone, Meghan says, and there it is. The core of the whole problem laid bare. I am not some nobody you can push around. I never said you were a nobody, Andy replies. But you're also not royalty anymore. You're a guest on a talk show. My talk show. And on my show, I ask questions. If you can't handle that, then you shouldn't have agreed to come. This interview is over, Meghan announces, as if she's the one in control. It's been over for 10 minutes, Andy says. You're the one who's still standing here yelling at me. Meghan turns to storm off, then spins back around. You're going to regret this, she says again. You already said that, Andy points out, still waiting for the actual regret to kick in. Smug, Meghan says. You're so smug, so satisfied with yourself. You really think you won here, don't you? I don't think this was about winning or losing, Andy says. I think this was about having a conversation, which we could have done if you'd been willing. But you weren't, so here we are. Here we are, Meghan repeats mockingly. With you looking like a hero and me looking like the villain. Is that what you wanted? Is that what this was all about? Andy sighs, and for the first time, he looks tired. This wasn't about anything. I invited you on my show. You accepted. I tried to interview you. You turned it into this. That's all that happened here. That is not all that happened, Meghan insists. Then what did happen? Andy asks. From your perspective, what did I do that was so terrible? Meghan stares at him. You know what you did. I really don't, Andy says honestly. I asked you questions. You got upset. You attacked me. I defended myself. That's the sequence of events as I understand them. You twisted everything, Meghan says, but her voice is losing some of its fire. She's running out of steam. I didn't twist anything, Andy says calmly. I asked straightforward questions. You gave defensive answers. That's not twisting. That's just what happened. Meghan looks around like she's suddenly aware that there are cameras recording all of this, that there's an audience watching. One that this is all going to be seen by millions of people. This is going to make you look terrible, she says, but it sounds weak now. Maybe, Andy says with a shrug. Or maybe people will watch this and see exactly what I saw. A guest who came on with an attitude and turned a normal interview into a circus. A circus, Meghan repeats. You're calling me a circus. I'm calling this situation a circus, Andy clarifies. You're the one who created it. Meghan's hands are shaking. She's so angry she can barely contain it. I want every bit of this footage destroyed, she demands. Andy actually laughs at that. That's not how this works. This is a live show. It's already out there. Meghan's face goes pale. Live? Yes, live, Andy confirms. You knew that. It was in all the paperwork you signed. I didn't, Meghan starts, and then stops. This can't air. It already did, Andy says gently. It's happening right now. Has been for the last 20 minutes. The realization hits Meghan like a physical blow. Everything she just said. Everything she just did. Millions of people watched it happen in real time. No, she whispers. Yes, Andy says, and there's almost pity in his voice now. Meghan stands there, frozen, as the full weight of what just happened crashes down on her. She came on this show to control her narrative, to present herself in a certain light, to be seen as poised and graceful and wronged. Instead, she showed the world exactly who she really